India and Japan are two of the four Quad countries. Now, both have been at the receiving end of China's wolf warriors recently. Wolf warriors is a term used for aggressive Chinese diplomats. Now, recently a Chinese diplomat threatened to cut off the head of the Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, the diplomat made this threat. He, of course, deleted it. What was the provocation for the threat? Well, on the 7th of November, the Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi warned of how a Chinese invasion of Taiwan could trigger Japanese military action. Now, Japan is, after all, just 100 kilometers away from Taiwan and has reasons to feel threatened by such military action by China. Now, the Chinese wolf warrior diplomat, of course, deleted his statement on X, but tensions between Japan and China have snowballed. President Donald Trump intervened to cool tempers between the two countries recently. Now, on the 21st of November, an Indian national, Prema Wangjom Thongdok, was detained and harassed at Shanghai airport because her passport showed she was born in Arunachal Pradesh. Now, that's a state that China claims entirely as its own territory. Now, India has issued a strong démarche to the Chinese envoy in New Delhi against the treatment meted out to its citizen. Now, China later issued a statement claiming all of India's state of Arunachal Pradesh as Chinese territory. But why are both India and Japan at the receiving end of Beijing's cartographic aggression? Well, let's start with Arunachal Pradesh. It's an Indian state south of the McMahon line. Independent Tibet accepted this line as the boundary with India in 1914, when its representatives signed the Simla Convention with British India, thus establishing the boundary between Tibet and British India. Chinese delegates attended the convention but did not sign on the agreement, and China uses this refusal as the basis for its claims on Indian territory. Now, independent India inherited the boundaries of British India, but strangely renounced British claims on Tibet under the 1954 Sino-Indian Agreement, also known as the Panchsheel Agreement. Now, India recognized Tibet as part of China, and India and China became neighbors for the first time in their history in 1951, when Beijing invaded and occupied Tibet. Now, for decades, China has only claimed a part of Arunachal Pradesh, mainly Tawang right here. But now it claims this entire state, which has an area of 83,743 square kilometers. It's a state the size of Austria. Now, China also lays claim to Taiwan, an island that's a little smaller than the state of Kerala. Now, Taiwan was part of Imperial Japan between 1895 and 1945. That's 50 years. In fact, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, the Indian freedom fighter, died here in a plane crash in August 1945. Netaji was being flown on an imperial transport, an imperial Japanese transport, onwards to Manchuria when the crash occurred here at the Taihoku military aerodrome. Now, Imperial Japan surrendered not to Communist China, but to the Republic of China that ruled mainland China. Now, here on the 9th of September 1945, the Imperial Japanese Army surrendered to the Republic of China's National Revolutionary Army in Nanjing. Less than 4 years later, in January 1949, the Republic of China, exhausted by fighting the war against Imperial Japan, was defeated by Mao Zedong's Chinese Communist Party. Now, the Republic of China fled to Taiwan, where they continue to rule till date. Now, neither Communist China nor the Republic of China were invited to the Treaty of San Francisco that was signed here in September 1951 and which came into effect in April 1952. Now, this treaty legally ended the Second World War for Japan. It terminated the Allied occupation and re-established peaceful relations between Japan and 48 Allied nations. Now, interestingly, India did not attend this 1951 San Francisco Peace Treaty. India objected to the limitations this treaty placed on Japan's sovereignty and that the treaty did not give Japan a position of equal honor among nations. Now, India signed a separate bilateral peace treaty with Japan in 1952 instead. And in 2025, both India and Japan face a common threat from an aggressive China.